hole there, but it's gone. That's a marl pit. That's where they've actually got an excavator and dug the marl out. The reed in there is the bulrush, and it's obviously there because it's in closer contact with the water table. You can see how degraded the environment is. This stuff that's died off, I'm not sure what that is. That would be native, but exactly what species it is, I don't know.
Right.
But you've got a geranium here.
A what?
A geranium.
You're joking.
We're
going to find some wild celery soon.
Now, whether it's a wild one or a
some.
domestic one, again, I'm
I
not
love
a
celery.
botanist, but it's definitely a geranium.
Where would that come from?
A whole lot of grasses that you will see. There will be buffalo grass, there'll be couch grass, you know, the stuff your lawns are made out of. So the understory is basically chock full of these exotic weeds, and native species, their seeds would really be struggling to germinate in this thick mat of grasses that's here. If you look across to the other side here, there's even a prickly pear. See that cactus there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
That's a good photo. Also, in terms of management of the area, look how crumbly that dune face is. Very fragile. You look across there where there's been less traffic, and the vegetation cover is holding things together a lot better. Here it's a lot more eroded, and you can see the old fossilised sand dune. Look at the bedding planes. That's the slope of the old dune. See the angles of the limestone? And that's how, you know, the calcium carbonate within the sand dune has sort of turned it to limestone. But it's, you know, it's an area that needs really careful management. If you're going to have public access from this side, you would, like they do at the beaches, have to have some sort of boardwalk. You'd have to have raised steps getting people down to certain areas. Ideally, you wouldn't want them coming down from this side at all. You'd want to sort of rehabilitate where we came down. You might want to put an observation platform up there, so you'd have a boardwalk from the road up to a viewing platform, and people can get, you know, the nice view and that experience. And if you put those facilities in, it's much easier for people to walk along a boardwalk, so you can manage human traffic that way quite effectively. But, you know, bear this in mind. You can see how fragile all of this is. So yeah, take a photograph of that. I mean, a cactus really doesn't belong here. And in fact, that one would be quite invasive. I'm not sure 100%, but I think it is a prickly pear.
I don't know if I'm taking photos at the same time or not.
You can also see
well, if the water courses aren't hidden here.
It's never going to be it's never going to be a swamp again, and even more than
I'm sure if you Google the Ganges National Park, you'll be able to find out when the last fire was. So, because of the increased human traffic through the park and so on, fires are obviously starting here, and there's one, you know, that probably started somewhere in the park that certainly went through to this wetland. The peat soils in wetlands can be a real hazard after a bushfire, because you can put out the bushfire, but because the soil is made up of organic material, the fire can smoulder for many months underground after a fire. So fires and wetlands really don't go together.
That's because the peat stays hot.
Yes, it keeps smouldering. And you know, you can walk onto ground that you don't even realise is hot.
I've got to get this sand out of my shoes. This is sensible. I don't usually wear shoes.
Sometimes, you know.
I just don't wear shoes ever. It's only because I have to go to uni, I have to put shoes on.
Traditionally, this time of the year, there would still be water in these pools. That just shows the extent to which the groundwater table has dropped. You know, the lake bed itself would dry out in summer, but these pools would remain full. And I'm really quite alarmed to see that there's just basically no water. This would be a groundwater monitoring point. You can see they can take the top off and they'll probably drop something down and measure the depth of the water table. And that's what
Oh, look how sad that is.
what the marl looks like. It's cracked up into blocks like that. It's those would seal up as water is absorbed and after rain. In another point you'll see where there is a small pool of water, just to show you where the water table actually is.
Not too bad.
What's
But
that
you could see from
foliage?
here, from the ground that we're standing on to the bottom there, that vertical distance is probably about a metre, and already, you know, the water table would have to rise more than a metre to start flooding this area. It's dropped very significantly. Another environmental weed you see where you're standing is this thistle. If you touch that, it's very nasty and prickly. That's an old one. A new one is popping up there. That green stuff there. There's another one over there. Very nasty stuff.